Really quick before we start, I just want to say that I just saw the title and thumbnail for episode 3, and this is going to be 26 minutes of just dragging Ozpin, and I'm ready for it. Well, it looks like I'm eating my words because that was not a drag Ozpin episode at all. It was quite the contrary. Woof, that was a jam-packed one. Like, this was a lot. A whole lot, and I'm gonna try my best to break it all down for you. So let's go in and let's hope I don't forget anything. I watched it twice, so hopefully that's enough for my glowing brain to absorb all the information. So let's do it. Oh, this is chapter 3, The Lost Fable, of volume 6. There we go. That's good. So we start off this episode where we left off in chapter 2 with Salem, human, blonde, good-looking Salem in her tower, locked in there by her father, who is cruel. We don't know why, but we know that during this time period, magic was free for everybody, and the gods were more in contact with everybody. Now, while Salem was locked in her tower, there's this dude named Ozma, who I'm assuming he's not the King of Vale like we all thought. He's just a normal warrior who freed Salem because he thought that she deserved freedom. And of course, them two fell in love. So they fell in love, and they were like, getting it. They were really doing well together. They both had magic, they both had access to it, and they were both really cared for each other. And unfortunately, Ozma got a cold. He got the flu, and the dude just died. And I was like, woof, this warrior dude just got some. That was, I guess in that time period, the flu was pretty much like a done deal. I guess regardless, he died he got sick and he died. Ozma's dead, and that's the original Ozpin, but he died. And so Salem was like, oh no, this isn't gonna cut the mustard, chief. So what she did, stricken with grief, she went to the god of light, and she walked up to a shrine, and he came, this like all gold fluorescent figure with like horns, kind of looked like a shapeshifter from Soul Calibur, and he like walked up to her and he's like, what's going on, Salem? And Salem was like, yo, bring back Ozma, I love him, you don't understand, I want you to bring him back for me. The god of light was like, sorry pimp, can't do it. There's a balance of life and death. It happens to the best of us. You're just gonna have to get over it. It's just the way it is. Which makes sense. And so Salem was like, alright, bet. So she left. And she went to the god of darkness. And it kind of looks like this, like her lair, like Evernight, where she's kind of chilling at his little sanctuary. She goes to him. He comes like crawling out of this black sludge. His bones are crickling and crackling like the Knuckleave. He's like a purple fluorescent figure with horns that go like that. And he's like, yo, what's up, Salem? And she's like, bring back Ozma. And he's like, yeah, okay. Bam. Snaps his finger. Ozma comes back to life. He's like, what's going on? Ah! And Salem's like, nah, chill. But then the god of light shows up. He's like, brother, come on, dude. We have a truce. We're supposed to be in this together. You're not supposed to, we're supposed to live in harmony. And the god of darkness is turns into this big old dragon. And he's like, nah, you're not going to do it. But the god of light turns into this big old dragon. It's like, yeah, I am. And he kills Ozma again in front of Salem. So she watched him die. She watched him die twice now. And the god of darkness brings back to life. He's like, no, he's staying alive. And the god of light kills him again. And he's like, no, you don't understand. Salem has been playing the old trick on us. She asked me first, but then she asked you. Kind of like a child would do with their parents. And the god of darkness is like, oh, word? You trying to fool us? So here's what we're going to do. So the god of light and the god of darkness teamed up on Salem for her arrogance and for her trying to trick them. They made her immortal. So she could forever live knowing that Ozma is dead and not coming back. And woof, what a savage move on the gods' part. It's kind of a dick move on their part, but holy moly. And they're like, yeah, you can die. You're going to be immortal, but you can finally die when you learn your lesson about life and death and how you can't just make demands of us and all that kind of stuff. Peace. So Salem, rightfully pissed that the gods have cursed her with immortality, was like, alright, bet. You know what? I'm about to rain hellfire on these fools. I'm about to go do some work. So she travels all throughout the land, talking about stuff. Well, first she tries to kill herself, like a bunch. Like, she stabs herself and whatnot. RWBY was like, oh my god, this is horrible. She did try to kill herself a lot, but like the god said, immortal, can't die. So Salem's like, bet, here's what I'm gonna do. Travels around the world, uniting all kind of kingdoms, talking about, hey, look, I have immortality, try and kill me. Can't do it because I'm immortal. And you can have this power too, but you just gotta follow me, and let's go get these gods out of the way, and we can all have this kind of power. So you got the king, queen, this like war chief. They're like, yeah, let's freaking go. They freaking go up, sizing up the god of light sanctuary. Like, yo, show yourself. The god of light and the god of dark show up, and they're like, what's this all about? Why are you doing this? And Salem comes forth like, yeah, you didn't think I would do it, did you? Uh-huh. Now y'all are gonna pay. All right, everybody, let's use our magic that they gave us. And let's get them. And of course it doesn't work. The god of darkness eats that up. He takes through all of it easily, effortlessly. He's like, oh, how cute. Pew! And just, the god of darkness wipes out all of humanity. Every single person on that earth at that time, completely decimated. Buildings, civilization, people, children, annihilated. But Salem still survives, and they're like, you know what, Salem, you're not about it. We tried to be nice, we tried to give you a lesson, it's not gonna cut the mustard anymore. All right, it is just you on this remnant now, and you are gonna stay here. We're gonna peace out, because this experiment of humanity was obviously a big mistake. And the gods just leave. And as the god of darkness flies up into the earthly heavens, into space, he breaks through the moon, shattering it. And that's why the moon is shattered. Amazing. Oh my god, amazing. And so Salem's just there. Like Grimm everywhere, and that was like from the god of darkness, but she's just there with all the Grimm, can't die, just poor Salem. I want to feel bad for her, but then again I can't, because everything that happened to her are her actions. All right, no matter what, I live by the philosophy, no matter what is done to you, that is never an excuse for you to do something equally bad or even worse. But so Salem arrives, like, she's like alone on Remnant now. Nobody, just Grimm and animals. And she approaches the god of darkness, his former sanctuary, where like that black sludge that he came out of, where the Grimm form out of. She's like, alright, well, if the god of light's puddle is what gave me immortality, surely by going into the god of darkness puddle, it'll take it all away and finally kill me. So she jumps in, and no, it does not. It was unable to kill her, and instead it just morphed her into what she is now, at least without all the red veins. She's just completely white, hair completely white, red eyes, and she's like, whoops. Whoops. It's rough. She had a rough go at it. So Salem just was like, oh, fiddle faddle. So some time moved on. Humans evolved once again on Remnant. They came back along with Faunus, who were being caged up and everything. Really awful scenes. Not like, animation-wise, it was really good, but like, you know, the context of like what was happening was awful. You get it. Why did I even explain that? It's so stupid. Anyway, so the gods, they summon forth Ozma, and the god of light is like, hey man, what's going on? And Ozma's like, what is happening to me? He's like, listen, all right, your girl Salem she's having a rough go at it. Now, we abandoned Remnant because we have seen that the humanity cannot unite. They are always at war, they're always feuding, so we're like, what's the point? But here's what we're going to do, Ozma. We're going to give you the chance to unite humanity, and you can do it with the 4 relics. The Sword of Destruction, I believe it's the Crown of Choice, the Lamp of Knowledge, and the Scepter of Creation. And he's like, these are the 4 relics. I'm going to scatter them throughout the world. You find all 4, then we will come back to Earth, and we will give our judgment. If you have united humanity, like, if you summon all 4 of the relics, and you have united humanity, and we come back, we will see that, and we will thank you, and we will come back to Earth and give them our blessings. However, if you bring all the relics together, we come down and judge, and you are not united, you're still warring with each other, then we're gonna do an electric boogaloo too, and just wipe out all the Earth again, and you're gonna have to start over. which is rough. Like, that's a lot. I mean, Ozma's like, whoa, why? And like, he's like, so will you do it? And Ozma's like, I will. Because also with it is Salem. And I think he agreed. It was very similar to when Ozpin was telling Pyrrha about the maidens. And she said yes, even without hearing everything. Ozma also said yes without hearing everything. And I think that's a very good parallel because it shows, like, they were both righteous and courageous enough to put others and the greater good above themselves, you know? And I can really respect that in both of their characters. So the God of Light is like, alright, bet. So begins your journey of reincarnation. So Ozma comes back through this similar looking dude, but he has white hair, the man we saw in the intro, the white haired man. So it was after the night, and then it goes to the white haired man in the robes. That's who he comes back as. Except he's a poor little farmer. Now, he kind of makes good for himself, defeating Grim, but he eventually hears word of a witch. So Ozma's like, oh boy. Woof. He knew it was Salem, but he wanted to see what she had become. So he goes to this little witch's hut in the forest, and Salem's there. And she sees him, and he sees her, and they both immediately recognize her, despite they both have changed so much physically. It's beautiful. I respect what they have going on at this stage in their relationship. So, you know, they have some tea. They talk it out. They're like, you know, this is very weird. This is very strange. Salem didn't tell Ozma how she had gotten this way, and Ozma didn't tell Salem what the God of Light told him to do. And they kind of worked it out. Like, they got married. They were together again. And I find that to be very interesting because Salem still looked the way she did. Ozma was in a completely different body. And by the way, he completely took over that dude's body. There's no soul sharing in that takeover. He completely took him over that time. Interesting, but... So, Salem's talking to Ozma in his new form, and she's like, dude, we're like the only ones left on this world with magic. We can be the new gods. We can be the gods that the brothers couldn't be. And Ozma's like, well, woof. Okay. And so they go and, like, they amass a following whatever. In the trailer, when people were bowing down to floaty Ozma, that's what was happening. So they amass a following, they get a big old castle, Ozma and Salem, he gets in his new pimp robes, and they have 4 daughters. And you know what that means? That means Ozma slapped them grim cheeks at least 4 times and got her pregnant 4 times. My man Ozma did not care. He drilled them cheeks despite Salem being a grim. And you know what? I can salute that 100%. He's a braver man than I am. Good Lord, what a man. Up top. Woof. But in all seriousness, the 4 daughters, they are very similar to the original maidens, and I have a theory about that we'll get into later, but there's a lot. So, you know, and though they have their 4 kids, and over time, Ozma's like, dude, what are we doing? We came here on a mission, and right now, we are losing. We're not doing that, because Salem is just putting, like, she's looking good, she's doing the work on us. But eventually, he sees Salem's growing hunger for power, and to be worshipped, and he's like, Salem, I don't think this is right what we're doing. And she's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So later that night, Ozma gets their 4 daughters, and he's like, all right, guys, we're gonna split. We're gonna leave Salem. But Salem catches them, and they have a big old fight. I'm talking, they destroy the entire castle they were in, and most likely killed their 4 daughters in the middle of the battle. Like, it was so powerful that they didn't even show it. Like, you just saw Ruby and Weiss and Blake and Yang's reaction to it, and they look horrified at what was happening around them. But in the end, Ozma, the new, like, form he's in, he's, like, dragging himself out. He's bleeding very heavily, and Salem approaches him, and she's like, why would you do this? And Ozma's like, alright, and before he can even get a word out, Salem just burns him alive, thus beginning the reincarnation process. And through this, we see that he started off as the old man, the wizard, who gave the maidens their power. And I'm thinking that since their daughters most likely died during Ozma and Salem's fight, I'm thinking that he saw these 4 sisters and gave them the power because they reminded him so much of his lost daughters. It's my theory, at least. It's not confirmed. But after the old man, he kind of becomes this drunk, trying to drink away the sorrow. But eventually, he becomes the dad, Ozpin, who we see in the opening as well, the dude with the glasses and the cargo shorts. And he is the first one to utilize the cane and rebuild Ozma's scepter as, like, the cane weapon. So that's pretty cool. He also has a family. It's very touching. And Jin, the genie who's narrating all this, also mentions that with Dad Ozpin, that's the first time he really started to live in unison with the other soul. Kind of like what he's doing with Oscar right now. How they kind of live together. So then Dad Ozpin gets really old, and he, like, makes a little vault for the cane that multiple incarnations come back to. And we leave on this one steampunk-looking Ozpin, who gets the lamp of knowledge and proceeds to ask it 3 questions. He asks, what are the relics' true power? Where are they? And how can I defeat Salem? To which Jin gives the answer, you can't. And the episode ends. And I'm like, whoa. Like, that was a lot to take in. It was so jam-packed information. Salem, Ozpin, Ozma. It's so interesting. And now it answers so many questions. The moon, Salem, Ozpin. But it also raises some new questions now. So, how did humans come back if the gods wiped them out? Did the gods make these new batch of humans, or did they just come through natural evolution? How did dust get there? Was dust made from when the moon shattered and the pieces came raining down? We don't know. The 4 maidens, were the daughters the original 4 maidens, or did they really die in the fight? We don't know. I'm really interested to see what's happening in episode 4. How do you follow something like that? This is episode 3. This is only episode 3. What else could there... Oh my god, this is only episode 3. Great job, RWBY. My god. This was amazing. The pacing this volume is phenomenal. And I can't get over it. It is just so good. Everyone, writing, animation, lighting, it's just all so good. Again, I never thought Ozpin was in the wrong. And I'm so glad to have vindication knowing that he didn't have nothing to do with Salem becoming the way she was. Salem became who she was today because of her actions and her actions alone. Whether or not the gods were jerks, whether or not they were being whatever, is completely irrelevant to how Salem is now. And on the subject of the gods, I do not think they were being unfair in a way. I see a lot of people hating on the gods because people can't understand that nobody is perfect, everybody has mistakes, everyone has regrets, moral gray areas. And people seem to need someone to blame. They don't like having multiple people being right and wrong at the same time. And I think that now that it's very clear that Ozpin is not that person, I feel like they're shifting it to the gods. Now, in my opinion, the gods, they're gods, alright? They don't care. They do not have human emotions, and we're holding them up to our humanly standards. But they're way up here. I'm not saying that makes them better. I'm just saying they do not have the same thoughts. They do not think like us. They are celestial beings. They do not value the same things we do. Them cursing Salem with immortality and saying that we'll free you once you learned your lesson, that may seem like mercy to them. That's like a slap on the wrist to them. You know what I mean? And I don't think that holding them to these human standards is enough. Like, don't get me wrong, they probably could have handled this so much better, but they don't think like us. So I don't think they should be, held accountable for, like, you know what I mean. It's whatever. But I do not agree with people saying, like, Salem did nothing wrong. She did a lot of things wrong. But that just makes her a human. And I think she's a far more interesting villain now, more than ever. I am never going to be able to look at Salem the same way again. And I like that a lot. So, great job, RWBY. I'm very looking forward to the next episode. Episode 4. Wow. Here we go. This is going to be great. I like this a lot.